Steve Robbins here. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys, quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. Sometimes our bosses are our own worst enemies. Jim wrote in, "My boss will often give me a task and then interrupt it for another task. On Friday, he asks, 'What did you get done this week?' With all of his interruptions, I have to say very little. But I'd rather be able to tell him everything he assigned me and how much time it took. How can I track the tasks and time spent without spending so much time tracking that I don't get work done?" Your boss's distracted style hurts your substance and style. He's potentially giving you far more than you can handle and giving it to you in a way that is least likely to help you succeed with any of it. The problem with time tracking is that you have to remember to do it. That in turn uses up precious mental energy that you'd rather be spending on work or World of Warcraft. Relying on your brain to do this kind of tracking just compounds the problem, since your brain is already working hard just trying to keep up. Relying on someone else's brain is hard because they have their own things they're trying to keep track of. And besides, even if you can remove it, they'll usually want it back. What we'll do is use an external timer. Grab yourself an egg timer or an application that does the same thing. Instead of writing down what you're doing when you change tasks, set the timer for 15 minutes. When it goes off, simply note what you're doing in a time log. Your time log will help you track your time and also be the tool you use to show your boss he has to change his style. Open up a spreadsheet to use as a time log. Here, you'll record how you spend your time each day. When you meet with your boss, you'll be able to tell at a glance how many projects you're working on, how much you've been able to focus, and how many interruptions you've had that threw you off base. Most timesheets have you write down the task and the time. Oh, that's a huge hassle, though. It means you have to put too much attention on the time log itself. Furthermore, then you have to analyze the data in order to get useful information. That will not do. We're going to do something different. Open a blank spreadsheet to be your time log. You'll be able to download one that's already pre-formatted from the transcript of this episode. And label each row with a project you're working on or a way you spend time. Include rows for meetings, interruptions by your boss, lunch, and Xbox 360. Label the columns 1 through 32. Now, print out the sheet, write the date at the top, you'll use a new sheet every day, and close your spreadsheet program. You'll be tracking in pencil or pen, not electronically. Do not label a row email, however. That's too general. You'll want to record email time according to which project the email is related to. Keep your timesheet within easy reach. When your timer goes off every 15 minutes, simply put a check mark in the row of whatever project you're working on. You're using a paper grid because making a check mark on a piece of paper requires very little distraction, whereas calling up your spreadsheet program on the computer requires more of your attention to shift. It may even mean you have to move away from the program that you were working on. So, use your paper and put your first check mark of the day in column 1, your second check mark in column 2, and so on. For an 8-hour day, you'll have 32 15-minute blocks. If your boss comes in and gives you a new project to work on, write it into the row below your existing projects. At the end of the day, type it into the spreadsheet so tomorrow's spreadsheet already has that row entered. Keep your daily grids in a notebook. After a week of tracking your days, you'll be ready to talk to your boss. Now, when you meet with your boss, you can make a strong case about your workload. The number of rows. The number of rows filled out on the page will show how many different projects you're working on at once. Use this as a sanity check. In the screwiest job of my career, I was responsible for 46 different projects. Spending just 1 hour per project per week, I couldn't even review everything every week. And at 1 hour per week, it was no surprise nothing made much progress. Use the number of rows to discuss your overall workload with your boss. The check marks. How the check marks are laid out will tell you how focused you were. If you have long horizontal lines of check marks, that means you stayed on one project for enough time to get something done. If your check marks bounce up and down through the day, even if you keep coming back to the same project, your distraction level is so high you're likely never getting momentum. Use the distribution of check marks to discuss the need to work uninterrupted on the same project. Number of projects. The number of projects written in pencil, along with the check marks in the interruptions row, will show how many distractions and changes of directions your boss introduced. Use the interruptions to show your boss how much he's introduced new tasks that might change your priorities, and ask him to show how the new tasks fit into or replace your existing priorities. With your grids in hand, you can talk with your boss to renegotiate your workload, set priorities, and get rid of projects that no longer fit comfortably into your schedule. Also, discuss delegation style and put your heads together to find a way for your boss to meet his needs while allowing you to meet yours as well. This is Steve Robbins. For a copy of a filled-out grid and a formatted spreadsheet, visit this episode's transcript at getitdone.quickanddirtytips.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.